stolen valor, and dodged deployment.
What?
Those are the two accusations being thrown at one VP candidate, Tim Walz.
Well, why don't you cry about it?
Well, when you lie about your military ranking,
That is true.
then you lie about being deployed to Iraq when you wanted to run for Congress,
That is also true. What the fuck?
well, those are no longer accusations, are they?
Kyle, your facts are starting to piss me off.
I'm Jasper Gonzo and this. Yeah, a new nickname has been given to the governor, Tampon Tim.
Ooh.
Well, it fits, because he's a douche. And that's what's next. What's up, everyone? Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily dose, common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Thursday. Well, as we all know, Kamala Cackle, Kamala Knee Pants, Kamala Willie Brown has picked her VP pick, and that is one Governor Tim Walz out of Minnesota. So, as I said in a prior video, when you had the opportunity to get Josh Shapiro out of Pennsylvania, and you literally would have locked up PA, but no, because there was just a little bit too much Jew in him, and your Democratic, cronies and friends wouldn't have liked it. But anyway, you went with a governor of one of the most radical blue states, top 5 in the country, along with New York and, of course, California. And, of course, let's not forget Whitmer in Michigan. But with Tim Walz, he's got a number of highlights, giving driver's license to illegals, open borders, abortion on demand whenever you want it, child castration. Those are among the highlights. And also, let's not forget that he put tampons in boys' bathrooms. So, yeah. But one of the things that are sticking out the most is his military record. One has already been exposed in regards to his ranking. Now, it turns out that what he said about being deployed to Iraq, he didn't really go because he wanted to run for Congress. Because that's how he wanted to serve his country. Okay. This coming from Breitbart. Walz. Nice. Kamala's running mate broke pledge to deploy in Iraq in 2005. I have a responsibility to serve if called upon. For Congress, not for the military. Then congressional candidate Tim Walz broke a promise in 2005 to deploy with his U.S. Army National Guard unit if deployed to Iraq, despite his ongoing campaign. While saying he would still continue his congressional campaign regardless, Walz said in a press statement, as Command Sergeant Major, I have a responsibility not only to be ready for my battalion for Iraq, but also serve if called upon. He also suggested he was willing to leave his wife and daughter behind to deploy with Iraq with the unit. Ultimately, Walz left the military while the rest of his unit deployed for Iraq. How nice of him. A press release from Walz's campaign first highlighted by Jack Posobiec of Human Events. Walz is still planning to run for Congress despite a possible call for duty in Iraq. March 20th, 2005. On Thursday, March 17th, the National Guard Public Affairs Office announced a possible partial mobilization of roughly 2,000 troops from the Minnesota National Guard. The 1st District Congressional candidate, Tim Walz, currently holds the rank of Command Sergeant Major in the 125th Battalion, which is based in New Ulm and largely composed of men and women from southern Minnesota. The announcement from the National Guard PAO specific that all or portion of Walz's battalion could be mobilized to serve in Iraq within the next 2 years. Walz, who reached global geography at Manico Western High School, who teaches, has been an active member of the National Guard since 1981, has been previously deployed during his 23 years in the National Guard, including 8-month deployment during his Operation Enduring Freedom. When asked about his possible deployment to Iraq, Walz said, I do not yet know if my artillery unit will be part of this mobilization, and I am unable, to comment further on any specifics of the deployment. Although his tour of duty in Iraq may coincide with his campaign for Minnesota's 1st congressional seat, Walz is determined to stay in the race. As Command Sergeant Major, I have a responsibility not only to ready my battalion for Iraq, but also to serve if called upon. I am dedicated to serving my country to the best of my ability, whether that is in Washington or Iraq. I do not want to speculate on the shape of my campaign will take if I am deployed, but I have no plans to drop out of the race. I am fortunate to have a strong group of enthusiastic supporters and very dedicated and intelligent wife. Both will be a major part of my campaign, whether I am in Minnesota or Iraq. If called upon duty, Walz would leave behind his wife. If called upon duty, Walz will leave behind his wife Gwen and 4-year-old daughter Hope. As Breitbart News previously reported, Waltz did not retire as Command Sergeant E9, despite claiming otherwise. He retired as Master Sergeant E8 after having failed to complete the requirements for securing a higher rank.
Background?
I spent 24 years in the National Guard, some of that full time. I was an artilleryman. I deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. My battalion provided base security throughout the European theater from Turkey to England in the early stages of the war in Afghanistan. And that same battalion is now in Iraq.
The fact of the matter is that even though he served 23 years in National Guard, and I applaud him for his service, I appreciate his service, and much props. But at the same time, when you are ready to be called upon, guaranteed he wasn't thinking about being deployed to Iraq, serving with other members in his own battalion. No, he was more worried about, well, how's this going to affect me running for Congress? I need to be in Washington. I need to serve this country by being in the first congressional seat. So Iraq may be a problem. Funny how he left the military at the time his unit left for Iraq. Gee, what convenience. How convenient of him. But anyway, the fact of the matter is that he's not the first congressman, not the first governor, not the first VP candidate to bullshit his way into office. We've seen it with Joe Dementia for the better part of 50 years. We saw it with one congressional clown named Blumenthal, a Democrat, who lied about his entire military record. And yet he is still in Congress. Lying is part about being in Congress. If you're not a good liar, you're not doing your job. So Tim Walz, he's right up. I won't say he's right up there. He's pretty good at what he does. The fact of the matter is he's one of the worst governors in this nation's history. When you have racial riots breaking out in your own city, and it turns out that his wife stood there with the window open to smell to smell the smoke of the tires burning because she wanted to be in the moment. Wow. Just wow. And when you're putting tampons in boys' bathrooms, you're for child castration, open borders, all the other stuff that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that says all you need to know. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have a platinum plate full of goodies, full of ammo that they can use against Kamala Clown and Tampon Tim. They have the opportunity here. Take full advantage of it, because I know I will be just letting loose on both of these clowns. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, hit this notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Thank you for watching the video. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace.